Hi everyone! So today it's finally time to try out the ink sticks that Kuretake sent me a while ago. I got a whole box of their art supplies and this is what you guys have been the most excited about, it seems like. And so am I, to be honest. But I wanted to save it for the month of ink, which is October. Speaking of which, apologize for my witchy nails. I can't seem to find my nail file anywhere, but now they're perfect for ASMR. Maybe I should just paint them. Enough talking about disgusting nails. Let's take a look at these. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but there is this very distinct smell to these. Kind of like dirt after a summer rain. It has a very earthy scent. It isn't bad or anything, it is just noticeable. So we have this little color swatch card. This blue, it is so gorgeous. Blue isn't really my favorite color, but this tone, it is so pretty. And we have some instructions with pictures, which I am so grateful for because this is completely new to me. I have never worked with ink sticks like these before. So these are the Kuretake Saiboku Shimbi colored ink sticks. I'm pretty sure I butchered the Saiboku Shimbi pronunciation, but anyway. So as you can see here, to use these ink sticks you will need an ink stone, and Kuretake also sent me an ink stone, thankfully. This is what you use to kind of rub or grind the ink sticks into with a little bit of water, and you will get ink or paint. And I think Kuretake also sent me a little video how to use these, which will also be very helpful. I take all the help and information that I can get. So here we have the ink sticks. They are stored in these little wooden boxes and they are so pretty. Look at this little box. And then the ink stick itself is wrapped in this tissue paper. It got little writings on it. Here we have these colors, and then we have those bigger boxes, which is the gray and black. I'm not really sure what the difference is, but maybe you just use more gray or black and that is why you get more of it. Oh, this one is wrapped in this green, almost marbled paper. And I'm sure it's not paper, but I don't really know what else to call it. It even comes with a little note, which I can't read unfortunately, but maybe I can use Google Translate on it. We'll try that later. Oh, look at this. This one have like blue and red writings or stamps on it. It is a little weird because just looking at it, it reminds me of a charcoal stick. So I feel I will get all dirty, but there isn't any pigments coming off from it at all. So I might add a little disclaimer. This medium is completely new to me. I have no relationship or connection whatsoever to Japan or Japanese style calligraphy or painting or ink or anything. So I will probably just do this my own way in a more Western style painting kind of way. So I'm just gonna play around with this and experiment, and hopefully I will be able to create something nice anyway. So apologize in advance if I'm not using this the correct way as it is intended to be used, but also my philosophy is that there isn't really a right way as long as you are enjoying the art supplies. And here we have the black one. This one looks completely different. This one got like a raised up stamp on it, and look at that, it is all shiny. Oh, the smell actually reminds me of when I used henna to dye my hair with. Oil smoke ink, maybe that is what gives it this shiny look.
This ink is especially suitable for kanji, and it has a reddish black color with dark ink and a warm red purple ink color with light ink. It is also good for sumi-e as well as calligraphy, and it works from practice.
Can be widely used, and I can use it for my Western art as well. Let's see what information we can gather from this guy. Basically, it seems like instructions how to store the ink sticks properly. But yeah, I'm gonna try to swatch these. And I don't know if I want to swatch all of them, since I actually have a real color swatch card here. So I can actually see what all the colors looks like in real. But yeah, let's just try to mix some ink at least, just to try out the technique and everything. Let's pick a color that will show up in this black ink stone. And I really like this red one. It is so pretty. So I watched this little instructional video that Kuretake sent me, and they just put a tiny little amount of water. It looks like a pearl, maybe a little more. Grind the ink stick into the water in a circular motion. Alright, here we go. Oh, it seems like something is happening anyway. I'm not really sure how much is enough, but let's try that. The instructions was very clear that I should wipe off the ink stick when I was done. And apparently I'm supposed to guide the ink down in the pool area of the ink stone, but I'm not really sure if I got the right consistency yet, so I'm just gonna do a little swatchy swatch and see what it looks like. Oh, look at that! This is so freaking gorgeous. But it looks like here on the swatches, the darkest color here is a lot darker than this one, so apparently you can get it really pigmented. I can't really see any pigment particles or anything like grain in the paint either, and you really get a lot of ink from just a tiny amount of water. I'm gonna try to grind it just a little more to see if I can get it a little more pigmented. Got this really creamy consistency now. Oh, how beautiful this is. Look how much ink I got from that tiny little droplet of water. You can see here on the corner of the ink stick just how little ink I used for all of this. I am pretty sure you can get it even more pigmented with a little more ink and maybe a little less water. I am blown away how beautiful this is. So let's try this beautiful blue as well. A little droplet of water. This is actually quite satisfying. Alright, let's try that. This is such a lovely blue. Ooh, I kind of want it a little more pigmented, so let's try to get a little more pigments in there. Definitely a little more pigmented. For this one I can definitely see a little more graininess, like you can see the pigment particles in there. I actually wonder if you can just pick up the pigments directly from the ink stick and use it kind of like a watercolor pan. Well, you get some pigments, but it isn't a lot. So, and also it seems like it is very important to keep the ink sticks dry, so I don't think it is a good idea to put a lot of water on them. So, and it is actually really easy to clean this ink stone. So yeah, let's try the black one. I almost don't want to use it because it is so beautiful. This one is so beautiful. Oh. And you can add more water to it and you get this really nice ink wash. I am blown away by these ink sticks. I mean, I knew they would be beautiful and pigmented, but I never thought they would be this smooth and easy to work with. I'm just gonna draw something and we'll see what happens. So yeah, let's do that. So I did actually swatch all of these colors eventually, since it was so much easier to rinse and clean the ink stone than I first thought, but I just wanted to try them all and just look at them. They are so gorgeous. And I also tested to see if they could be reactivated again, and it seems like they get kind of permanent once they dry. There is a little bit of bleeding, but mostly permanent, I think. I promised you in my previous video that I would draw some cute and goofy cats with ink sticks, and don't worry, I will get to that. But first I wanted to try out the inks to see how they are to work with. So I'm drawing this skull, a wolf skull I think it is. I basically just wanted to paint some mushrooms growing out from something, and then I thought of a skull. Since I was planning to do something more line art heavy for the other piece, I wanted to try that out here in this practice piece. And these inks, they are so smooth and lovely to work with, and they also layers very nicely. I had a little trouble though getting the colors really dark and pigmented, as you can see on the included swatch card, but maybe you should use a lot more ink and way less water than what I did. I think I will have to experiment a bit more with that. So I did use some different colors in this piece, as you may have noticed, and what I did when switching between the colors, I used a pipette and then I put the rest of the mixed ink that I didn't use in a tray and I saved it for later. I don't like to waste paint, so I could actually go back at the end and use the rest of the green and the red that I didn't use as first. And yeah, it is a practice piece, but I really like how it turned out. A little Christmassy perhaps with the red and the green, but honestly, some stores have already started selling Christmas stuff and it isn't even Halloween yet. I mean, that is just weird. And something else that I also noticed, the colors do fade a little once they dry, especially the black one. It seemed more pigmented when I laid down the ink on the paper, but after a little while it had faded a bit. Again, maybe I need to mix the pigment a little better. I'm still exploring this art medium, so there are still things to learn, apparently. Also, let me know if you have ever used these kinds of Sumi ink sticks before and what you mainly use them for. Is it hand lettering or painting or maybe something else? Let me know. Also, something completely else, I feel like I could do a whole ASMR video with these art supplies. So many good sounds with the wooden boxes and grinding the ink sticks and all that. I really want to do art ASMR. I know a lot of people don't really like ASMR, but I think you can find some really nice sounds from drawing and different art supplies. But yeah, I might add some additional line work to this with a black ink pen just to add some more contrast, but to be honest, these inks looks great on its own too. So yeah, here we have this little mushroom skull. I like it. Let's move on to the next piece. So as I have been going on and on and on about for the past few months, it feels like, is that I've been a little low on inspiration, kind of like an art block. So what I do when I have trouble finding inspiration for what to draw is to go back and look at my old art. So this piece was inspired by an old artwork of mine. You could basically call it a redraw because it is very similar to the first one, but the original is from 2017. I have a video of it here on YouTube. I think it is from a Sketchbox unboxing with Inktober inspired art supplies. I do believe the original is mainly made in India ink, but it is cats sitting in a pumpkin patch and there are some giant mushrooms in the background. I mean, cats and mushrooms, what else? I love this piece and I was really excited to draw and paint it again. The cats in the original, they are in a very different style than what I have right now. They almost look like bunnies with the long ears, and I think people were even making jokes about those bunny cats. Now they are a little more like my Catttober cats that I've been drawing a lot lately, more goofy and stylized. They have more variation in their expression, which adds a little more life to the whole piece, I think. I usually don't add a lot of humor and goofiness into my art, but I'm really trying to change that. I need to say this again, I am so amazed by these Sumi ink sticks and how beautiful they look. I'm also very relieved that they are so easy to work with and it is so easy to clean the inkstone. To be completely honest, I've been pushing this review because it just seemed like a lot of work with the inkstone and water and grinding the ink sticks and mixing and only be able to use and mix one color at a time. That is usually how it is for me when testing all new art supplies. I tend to procrastinate just a little, but I am so glad that I decided to do this right now, testing these, because it was just what I needed to spark that inspiration. As I said, I've been struggling with my motivation and creativity, and I feel like this is just what I needed. Something new, but it is fairly easy to work with because it is a new technique with the ink sticks and the inkstone, but I can still use my old knowledge about working with ink because I've done that a lot. So it is new but not intimidating, and I know how to navigate through the process. It was just something fresh and fun. I started this whole piece with the line work and I really tried to create this pigmented ink. I wanted the lines to be bold and black, but as I mentioned before, the ink does fade a little, and maybe that is just one of the qualities of these inks, I don't know. Or maybe I just suck at mixing the ink, that is also a possibility. But when comparing it to the India ink in the old piece, the Sumi ink in this piece, it looks a little dull, but also India ink and Sumi ink, they are two completely different things, so you shouldn't really compare those two. But I did use a pen to add some additional line work and contrast in the first piece, so that is what I'm gonna do with this one too. And then I added more water to the ink mixture to create more of an ink wash, and then I used it for the shading, and I really tried to keep more negative spaces, aka letting the white of the paper showing through to add to the contrast. I usually just go wild and crazy and I splash a lot of ink on there, and then there's no contrast left. You really want different values to get a good balance. So, along with the art that I created for Cattober, this is one of my favorite pieces that I've created in a while. It was just so much fun and I'm really happy with the result, which is amazing. I haven't felt that in a while. It will be available in my Redbubble store along with the old version, so if you like it too, feel free to have a look. I will have a link in the description box below. Anyway, as I mentioned before, I needed to add some more contrast to this piece, so I used one of my favorite ink brush pens, the Kuretake Cambio Tambien pen, I think it's called. It has such a lovely bristle tip and I thought it would be perfect for this painting. Also, no, I am not sponsored by Kuretake, but I do love their art supplies, I can highly recommend. But yeah, I went over this whole piece and I added line work where I thought it was needed, and I deepened some of the black areas even more, which gave the whole piece a very lovely sketchy look. It just brought the whole thing together. I love the look of these Sumi ink sticks. They are very different from other inks that I have tried before, and they gave a very soft and even texture, and they look so smooth, almost no graininess or anything. So they seems very easy to get an even finish with if that is something that you're looking for. And I actually read somewhere that you should use some kind of fixative spray afterwards to preserve the ink better on the painting. So I am definitely gonna do that. But I highly recommend these if you can find them. I don't know if they are available on the US Amazon, but maybe on the Japanese one. I think someone said that they found them there, but I will have a link in the description box below if I can find them somewhere. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun creating these pieces and working with these art supplies. Thank you so much Kuretake for sending me these Saiboku Shimbi ink sticks, and thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope I will see you next time. Keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!